Imagine a weapon so powerful it could erase entire cities in seconds. Do you know which are the most destructive ever created? Today, we reveal the 4 nuclear weapons capable of altering the fate of humanity and the horrors they would unleash if they are ever used. In 4th place on our list, we find a steel giant that sleeps beneath the calm surface of the ocean, awaiting only a single order to awaken and destroy. This is the Trident II, a ballistic missile that doesn't launch from solid ground, but rises from the depths of the sea like a beast hidden beneath the waves, ready to lay waste to entire cities. It measures 13.5 meters in length, the height of a 4-story building, and weighs 59 tons, the same as 10 African elephants combined. But its true threat doesn't lie in its size, but in what it carries inside. Within, it holds 8 nuclear warheads, each containing fissile material like plutonium or enriched uranium, capable of triggering chain nuclear reactions and unleashing a massive explosion. Each warhead has a yield of 475 kilotons, approximately 30 times more powerful than the bomb that devastated Hiroshima. Beyond its deadly force, the Trident II features an extremely precise guidance system. A combination of stellar navigation and GPS corrections allows it to strike with a margin of error of just 100 meters, even after crossing half the planet. This missile is deployed exclusively on Ohio-class submarines of the US Navy and Vanguard-class submarines of the Royal Navy of the United Kingdom. Now imagine this. Imagine a single Trident II fired at a megacity like Moscow. The 8 warheads, detonating in sync, would release 3.8 megatons of energy, equivalent to 250 Hiroshima bombs. In 1.8 square kilometers, a fireball would vaporize everything in its path. Within an 11-kilometer radius, buildings would be reduced to rubble. Up to 22 kilometers away, many people would suffer third-degree burns. An estimated 2.8 million dead and 4.6 million injured in minutes. And the most unsettling part? This is just one missile, and there are dozens more, waiting beneath the waves. In 3rd place on our list appears an updated relic of the Cold War, a massive metallic column that doesn't need to hide. It stands tall, visible, defiant, awaiting the order to annihilate. We're talking about the DF-5C. This intercontinental ballistic missile is one of the most imposing in China's arsenal. Standing over 32 meters tall, almost 3 times the size of the Trident II, and weighing 183 tons. It's a terrestrial monster built for one mission: to erase multiple cities with a single launch. It wasn't created to strike a single target, but to split in mid-air and attack in several directions at once, thanks to its 12 independent nuclear warheads, each with a yield of 1 megaton of TNT, about 66 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Its power depends on how it's used. It can scatter and strike 12 different cities simultaneously, or focus all its fury on a single point. Now, let's imagine the latter. What would happen if all 12 warheads of the DF-5C were dropped on New York City? Within a 5-kilometer radius, a massive fireball would consume everything. Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, and parts of New Jersey would vanish in seconds. Within 17 kilometers, buildings would collapse from the blast wave. Entire areas of Long Island, Newark, and Staten Island would be reduced to rubble. Over 30 kilometers away, people would suffer third-degree burns just from the thermal radiation. The human toll would be catastrophic. Over 3.5 million dead and more than 5 million injured in a matter of minutes. Communication systems would collapse. Panic would be total. And what was once the city that never sleeps would turn to ashes beneath a nuclear mushroom cloud, visible from more than 1,000 kilometers away. One single missile, 12 nuclear explosions, and one clear intention: to crush all resistance. And to think China has between 20 and 30 of these missiles in its arsenal. In second place on our list is one of the most feared names of the Cold War. A Russian monster not only designed to destroy, but to bypass any defense, crush all hope, and turn the Earth into radioactive dust. Its technical name is R-36, but NATO gave it a far more honest title: Satan. And even that name falls short. Standing over 32 meters tall and weighing nearly 210 tons, this missile could carry up to 10 independent nuclear warheads, each with a yield of 20 megatons. In other words, more than 1,300 times the power of the bomb that leveled Hiroshima. It was built to be launched from underground silos hidden in the Russian steppe, capable of traveling up to 16,000 kilometers and striking any target on Earth without warning. Now imagine this: if its most lethal version struck a city like San Francisco, a fireball would consume more than 30 square kilometers, instantly vaporizing hundreds of thousands of people. Within 3 kilometers of the epicenter, everything would be reduced to ashes. Buildings, bridges, cars, bodies. Nothing would remain. Beyond 17 kilometers, the shockwave would demolish entire neighborhoods. And up to 50 kilometers away, people would suffer severe burns, blinded by the flash, suffocated by fires and toxic gases. Over 3 million dead and millions more injured or contaminated. But the darkest truth is this: the R-36 wasn't a Soviet anomaly. It was mass-produced, and to this day, Russia maintains dozens of these missiles, ready to launch, ready to devastate. One Satan doesn't need backup. It alone is enough to wipe out a nation. At the top of our list is the most feared weapon of the present. A modern nightmare born in the bowels of Russia. It was not designed merely to deter. It was built to wipe out entire civilizations in a single detonation. Its official name is RS-28 Sarmat, but the world knows it as Satan II. This steel colossus measures more than 35 meters in length and weighs 208 tons. It can carry up to 15 independently targetable nuclear warheads and travel over 18,000 kilometers, crossing oceans, continents, and missile defenses without being stopped. But its true horror lies not in its size, but in the way it strikes. Satan II can use a fractional orbital bombardment system, allowing it to briefly exit the atmosphere and re-enter from any direction, even from the South Pole, evading radars designed to detect threats from the Northern Hemisphere. In other words, it can arrive when you least expect it, from where you least imagine. Now, imagine this: a single RS-28 fired at New York, not with multiple warheads, but with a single monstrous 50 megaton charge, the same yield as the Tsar Bomba, the most powerful nuclear device ever detonated by humanity. The fireball would have a radius greater than 5 kilometers. Everything inside it would be vaporized instantly. People, steel, concrete, gone. buildings would collapse up to 25 kilometers away. The heat would be so intense, it would cause third-degree burns up to 60 kilometers from the epicenter. Windows would shatter within a 900-kilometer radius. The casualty count would be apocalyptic. More than 7 million dead and at least 6 million injured from a single detonation over the city. And that's not even counting the radioactive fallout, the nuclear winter, nor the global economic and social collapse that would follow. Satan II is more than a weapon. It is a message. If you shoot me first, there will be no one left to answer. We've built weapons capable of destroying the planet, yet we still haven't learned to live without hate. The danger isn't the bombs, it's the hands willing to launch them. Beneath the earth or the sea, they wait. They don't feel, they don't think, they simply obey. And when they awaken, there will be no time left to pray.